Both Don Getling and Gino Franti.
We would love for you to reach out to us multiple ways. First, go to donandgino.com. Super easy. DONANDGINO. donandgino.com. Click on the little Facebook logo and like our Facebook page because we have some great information to share with you on a regular basis. Not just 2 hours, not every Thursday, 12 p.m. to 2 p.m., but every day. Not every day. We're not going to bombard you, but occasionally we send you out some great information and keep you in the know. You're going to be getting more of this insider information about what's really happening in the real estate and finance world, because a lot of the stuff you hear is hype.
Or old.
Old. Most of it's old. Good
Forget
point.
hype. It's
older
old.
than me. I beat
You beat me to the
it.
punch.
But yeah, go to donandgino.com. Click on the Facebook logo. Also, if you'd like to get educated and share some great information, see some great information like information from Ken Harris with First American Exchange. He's been on quite a few times. We have on our YouTube channel, click on the YouTube channel, 150 plus shows now. That's right, they let us have 150 shows. On top of that, there's over 330 clips from our shows. And our new clips, thanks to AP Production, Mr. Furman in the house. 3 cameras, HD cameras here, making sure you get quality shots, quality information, quality sound to make sure you learn from these great guests. So please check out our YouTube channels. You can click in topics and it'll find it for you. So before we leave, Ken, we definitely want to touch base on this really cool topic about, because we see a lot of tax returns now, people are utilizing partnerships. And
a lot of partnerships. So I won't get into that because we'll have our CPA and come and do that. But when you have and hold real estate, a great way to hold it is with a partner. And I'm sure, as you mentioned, you're starting to see a lot of questions from partnerships.
Yes.
And I'm assuming that those partnerships are sometimes disproportional, where one owner has 30%, another owner has 10%, another owner has 40%. Sometimes partnerships can include multiple owners. So how does an exchange work when a situation like that arises?
There's 2 very important things when you exchange that you got to meet. One is same taxpayer requirement. The entity that sells needs to be the same entity that buys. Holding period requirement. You flippers, people that buy property with the intent to sell, cannot do an exchange. So you have to hold the property, typically for at least 2 years to play it safe before you exchange
repeat that
it.
because the flipper's going, hey, I'll never pay taxes.
Yeah.
Nice try.
Yeah, it specifically said, now it doesn't give us how long you have to hold the property for, but it does specifically say you cannot buy property with the intent to sell and exchange.
Yeah, in fact, if you want to dig into that a little bit further, I recommend you go to our YouTube channel, access that from donandgino.com, and on the last show, Ken, we went into that pretty deep.
Yeah. So, and I bring those up because when you're doing a partnership, and I got a call on this on a pretty big building in LA, a well-known building, just yesterday, and I've been getting multiple calls on this. We're going to dissolve the partnership, drop it down into the individual names, and each individual is going to do what they want. We have, 25 people, 13 of them want to exchange, the other 12 want to cash out and pay their taxes. Well, it's not that easy when you're exchanging because you need to meet your same taxpayer requirement and your holding period requirement. So if you just if you're in escrow or in contract on the property you're selling, and you think, okay, I'm just going to deed it right now to the individuals don't have a holding period. So you would meet your same taxpayer requirement somewhat, but what the IRS is going to do when they're reviewing the taxes is they're going to look back at the previous couple of years on those taxes and see how the property was held, and make sure that same taxpayer rule is met. So
make sure that the time requirements are met.
Time requirements, holding period requirements, same taxpayer requirements. Okay. So you got to be careful because we call it a drop and swap. And it's been actually the Franchise Tax Board that's lately been...
I haven't heard that since the 70s.
Yeah.
The lights off, huh?
Exactly.
Yeah, I just seen if you're awake out there. Sorry. You just crashed your car. I apologize.
Yeah. Yeah, so the Franchise Tax Board's been tough on those transactions. So be careful. Sometimes if you foresee a sale coming up, if you could drop it, hold it for at least a year under the individual name, get at least 1 tax filing, hopefully 2. Before you go ahead and sell it. The guy I talked to yesterday, he had like 20 investors held under a partnership. Again, the private letter ruling. They're going to the IRS to see if they could get some type of ruling on that, which is good for me because then I don't have to, be scared of how we're going to proceed with the exchange. They have their attorneys involved, and how they want to proceed will help them. and getting the private letter ruling will help them if it gets challenged once they file their taxes.
So that's really interesting, because one thing you mentioned that maybe not everybody heard, but being in the mortgage world, I'm very acutely sensitive to this. 2 tax filings doesn't mean 2 years.
No.
2 tax filings can happen in as little as a 6-month period, depending on how things lay out.
Correct.
So you need to talk to an expert, and it sounds like you need to talk to Ken Harris, who will tell you if you're in one of these situations, and if you are, you'll need to talk to your CPA or your attorney to make sure that you'll be covered.
Correct.
Give all our wonderful listeners out there your email address again. It's probably the best way for them to get a hold of you.
Yeah, it's K.A. Harris, Harris, at firstam.com, FIRSTAM.com.
All right. Or you can always reach out if you want some of our great resources. We have so many great professionals. We're actually aligning them in a group called the America's Professional Resource Group, because we've now been able to interview some of the best professionals in all of Santa Cruz, and we have found absolutely the best of the best. These people, these professionals, I should say, are accountable to you right here in Santa Cruz. They've been proven over and over. You do not last in this small town called Santa Cruz unless you knock it out of the park year after year, and these people have been doing it for 20 plus years in most cases, and that's what we've aligned ourselves with. It's called America's Professional Resource Group. The best attorneys, the best financial partners, best real estate professionals, all these people are aligned with us to make sure we can send you down the right path.
Yeah, I was just thinking about that when you were saying it, and it was like, this is, I'm being an implant, as Don calls me. I just came into this little bubble in 2007. And it is. You do something right, everybody knows. You do something wrong, everybody knows. So the people we've chosen for America's Professional Resource Group have a reputation of doing things right.
And that's why we have Ken Harris, part of our crew, because you're a great resource for us, Ken.
Thank you.
Without a doubt. So you can go to donandgino@gmail.com and hit us up anytime you want. Ask questions, ask for references, go to our Facebook page, heaven forbid. It's great stuff, and Ken, we love all this great information. One thing we didn't really touch on is we're talking about the 1031 exchange, how Ken Harris with First American Exchange can help you with that. We really didn't quite touch on a little bit what an accommodator is. Why do you need you?
Well,
why don't they just fill out a form?
Yeah, I exactly. Well, thankfully they need me.
They do. They need to go through an accommodator.
You have to have an accommodator, and that's what the tax code calls for. You can't have constructive receipt of funds, so we hold onto the funds. That's where your financial security comes in. We have to.
You're kind of like an escrow
company. I was just going to say, that's kind of funny. They act as an escrow, which you do with First American does all the time.
Exactly. So yeah, we're another branch to the transaction, but we do act as the escrow.
So you're the neutral party to make sure it's handled correctly.
Yes. Yes, so we prepare all the necessary agreements that are required by the IRS. We inform them and get them ready for their time deadlines, because they have 45 days to identify, 180 days to close from the day they close on the sale.
Okay, say that one more time, too.
45 days to identify from the day you close escrow.
To identify the property you wish to exchange.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, it don't have to be an escrow or contract, but you need to identify it to us, although I do recommend if you can be.
And you can identify 2 or 3 properties.
Absolutely. You can identify up to 3 properties at any value. You could go beyond 3 properties, but then you cannot identify a total value that is beyond 2 times the value of the property sold. The IRS doesn't want you identifying all of Los Angeles County.
That'd be
they want to limit it. Yeah, exactly.
Just a big red circle around the map.
Exactly. So they do limit it. So you can go above 3. 3 is the most common. 1, 2, or 3. If you go above 3, now you have the 200% rule. So be careful with that. Give me a call if you have any questions.
Okay, so you identify them.
Go ahead. I was gonna reference again, because I love referencing our old shows, because every time we've had Ken Harris on, we've talked about something different. And what you just touched on a little bit is the forward exchange. And I've been hearing a lot about reverse exchanges lately.
Yes.
So if you could go to donandgino.com, click on the YouTube logo, go to our YouTube channel, and type Ken Harris reverse exchange, because you just grazed how to identify properties, and if you can't identify them in a timely manner, maybe a reverse is better for you.
Reverse is great. I have some clients that prefer them because now they have the property they're purchasing first. What's happening in the reverse is they have to close on the property they're purchasing prior to closing on the sale. So we come in,
See,
park
all
that property,
these
and
things you didn't know out there, did you? I know you didn't know this.
Yeah.
And actually, I didn't know a lot of this. And that's why I'm glad you come in. So what do you think about being on the Don and Gino show, sir?
I love it. I love walking in here. Everyone has smiles on their faces. They welcome me, and I get exposure. It's fun every time.
So you like the vault?
I love it. I'm still looking for money, though.
I do have a green carpet.
Yeah.
That's about it.
Well, that's why we have great guests on here. We're all looking for money. That's why we call it the vault. Everybody wants the keys to the vault. Everybody wants what's in the vault.
Exactly.
And right now, Ken, you're in the vault.
Yes.
So everybody wants your great knowledge. Thank you for being part of our show, Ken.
Thank you for having me. It's always my pleasure.
And we will have you back, sir.
Great.
All right, do not go away. We have another great show coming up with one of the top real estate professionals in all Santa Clarita. He is a sales trainer, mentor, and author. That's right, the man, Elgin Walker, coming on in. You're going to love him. He's got a positive message for you and a lot of fun, so don't go away. We'll be right back.